Good morning, people. I just got back from my online meeting. I took a nap yesterday. It was real crazy, man. Me and my girl were gonna take the dogs out to the park or on a nature trail or something. Even looked one up that was close in town. Problem about being old, we both fell asleep around 3 in the afternoon. We just took a nap. I ended up waking up super freaking early this morning, which is cool because I did some recon work. But I went to this meeting and the topic was grapevine and topic was just the holidays and stuff like that. And then it went on to gratitude and then how this program's working. I said something about my artwork. My girl got me a book the other day, and I said something about my artwork. Literally for the last 4 or 5 years, I haven't been able to hold a tattoo gun that well. I used to draw on a lot of colored pencils and stuff like that. Well, she got me this book, and I scribbled in it, and the lines were all messed up and just it looked real shitty. But what I ended up doing was taking my time with it, and I switched the mediums, which is kind of like a metaphor for the program as well. I had the same basic concept, but I switched the mediums. So now that I know how to use a paintbrush doesn't really make my hand hurt. This is a work in progress, by the way. Now, it's also backwards because of the way I'm shooting it. It says, in the beginning, the four elements explode to create life. I don't know what I'm doing with all of it. That's just the cover art. About 3-4 years ago, when I did quit drink, or when I was still drinking and still using, the ability to not hold a tattoo gun, and I quit a job to this is what I'm gonna do. This is my calling in God, and there for a little while it was going okay. The money was coming in, and COVID happens, dropping customers, dropping people coming through, and then I started having this arthritis, and I was drinking. I'm cursing God at the time because I felt my artwork was the only thing that could basically make me successful. I used to say the only thing I'm good at is drawing, and painting and stuff, and selling drugs. I made the decision to stop, destroying my community and stuff like that, and the people around me and stuff like that. That was a conscious decision I made, and then I felt, I guess the word would be jaded, because I'm trying to do the right path. I'm trying to do the right things, and here God's taking away my gift. I've been drawing since I had crayons in my hand. Actually, we grew up kind of poor, so my mom would always try to find ways to keep us entertained without having much money or whatever. So, that type of stuff, I learned gratitude actually very early. I got lost, growing up and then getting into drugs. I lost my gratitude towards not only my parents, but pretty much everyone around me. Okay. So, that is completely different nowadays. What I basically did was switch the mediums. The outline sketches are very rough. The lines are shaky, and that's the big reason why I stopped doing tattoos. When you do tattoos, you have to be precise with your line work, or the tattoo doesn't look good. It looks choppy, it looks shitty. With the paintbrush, I can get the lines kind of semi-uniform. Now, would I do this on someone's skin? Definitely not. Tattoos are for life. And when I was doing tattoos, mind you, I was still using, I did mess up a couple tattoos. I'm not even going to lie. Offered to fix them for free as well. But, maybe if I wasn't so spun, maybe if I wasn't so drug addicted at the time, maybe I could have actually put this into planning in motion. By losing that sort of talent, I actually gained other skills. The gardening and stuff like that, which I've excelled in. I might try to do a career with that stuff. I've learned how to clone plants. So, like, rose bushes. I got my first successful rose bush clone. I got a real pretty rose bush out front of my house. The flowers are yellow and orange. They're gorgeous when they bloom. So I took the one. It was a test. That cloned over. So now that I know I can do it, I'm getting more containers and I'm going to make a couple clones. Hopefully later on in the season I can sell them and or I'm going to replant them out here, whatever. This is kind of my hobby now. Hopefully turning it into a career. I'm actually looking for a job in the landscaping when the season picks up again because I like to work outdoors. So that gratitude goes a long way. The message goes a long way. And what I do this channel for, I know y'all see all the crazy stuff with, the hacking and me trying to prove the point of the two different phones or whatever. That's just me trying to be like, look, something's going on. Something out of my control is going on, but at least I can show it, tactfully. Here's how it is. These are the science behind it, whatever. That's because people have treated me shitty. People approach me out here like they know me. Like they've known me for years and years and years, know all types of shit about me, and I don't even know who you are. So that's a little weird, but that's neither here nor there. The thing I'm most grateful for today, one is waking up and being able to have that first breath of life. When you lose a lot of people to this disease, every day is a blessing. Every day is a struggle too. Good day versus great day. I've explained that in other videos. Today looks like a gorgeous day. Today looks like I'm starting out with the right foot. Hopefully things go as they need to go and just float through it. Stop trying to control everything and just let go. There's a lot of truth to that. And I owe it to my sponsor and other people in this program that has helped me in these last 2 going on 3 years. Man, I can't wait till May. You have no idea, man. That's a stretch. I don't think I've ever had this much time since I started using. So the world does change. You get that negativity out your circle. You get people out your circle. Find other people that have similar interests and like-mindedness. And then once you get rid of your vices, you can really start to put your life back together. It's not completely shambles. I'm not saying it's the easiest thing in the world. That is definitely not the case. Getting sober was the hardest thing for me to do. But the last meeting I went to at my home group, somebody mentioned in the room that maintaining that sobriety is way easier than trying to get sober again. And the thing about that is, I don't believe I have another getting sober again. I believe if I were to relapse, it would probably be the death of me. So it comes down to life or death decisions. That's my commitment. I'm doing this for nobody but myself. The reward of it is being able to regurgitate some of the stuff I've learned to anybody listening that needs that help. That is how this program works. I got my own little side issues. Like I said, my channel was weird. It's a recovery channel. It's hey, check out what these hackers are doing to me. Here's some cool music. And then I got dog videos. It's basically just really what my life is. I don't like a lot of social media. I got off Facebook. I got off all those things years and years ago. So YouTube's my only real outlet for that type of stuff. And I've had haters, but despite the negative, destructive, and just hurtful comments, there's somebody out there that's getting this message and going, damn, dude, this dude actually got some smarts. Because going through shit will teach you about it. Having to hit rock bottom will teach you about it. When you finally surrender and be like, I'm not going to do this no more, and I'm committed. Look, the first 18 months of this time around, I almost gave up. I'm not even going to cap with y'all. I almost gave up because I didn't see none of the promises coming alive. All right, 18 months, my life's still just as unmanageable as it used to be. But just like in the literature, slowly but surely, things started to manifest. Once that happened, more things started to manifest. More things started to manifest. And what I realized was it's not really that. It's just how I deal with the world differently because I had that psyche change of mind, you know? I was a real shitty person when I was in the streets, man. It was really self-consumed about myself, my money. I'm trying to get this, whatever. I don't have to live that way no more. And that in its own light is the blessing. I don't have a bottle or a drug telling me when I got to wake up, when I got to go to sleep. I have an alarm clock and a puppy that teach me how to do that. And sometimes that doesn't even go, my sponsor says the best laid intention, or was it the best laid intentions don't always come to fruition, something like that. It's a song. I tried to even look it up on YouTube. And there's a lot of truth to that, man. You can plan and plan and plan and plan and plan and plan, but there's this thing called variables that always pop up. Now, can you adapt and overcome on the fly using tools that you've had? And that's how I've been living my life. So I hope anybody listening, if you're struggling with drugs and alcohol, man, listen. Get to a meeting, find you a sponsor with some long times, listen to what they got to say. Do more listening than talking. But definitely talk if stuff is bothering you. Get it off your chest. Because those resentments will eat you up inside, and the next thing is a drink or a drug. So that is how you live your life differently. And, I have a channel I watch. It's funny because I feel like my hacker is following the stuff I watch. I watch this Tarot, Mystic Rose 1111. Now, politically, we see completely different politics. But she said something really awesome the other day, which was it shouldn't matter about what your politics is. It should matter about what you're trying to do for people and stuff like that. And there's a lot of truth because, political wise, we're at a big divide in this nation right now. And, like I said, I would look at her because of some of the stuff she said on her videos, like she's from the other side, But at the same time, I get so much enlightenment from her channel. And it actually helped me, like, on some low key, because she's a recovering addict, hearing some of her story in some of the stuff I've been through, just watching her tarot stuff, helping me stay clean. I do like the fact that she goes back and, like, when she doesn't know something, she'll bust out the computer and immediately research it. So she has the exact correct information. And that's really what it comes down to. Program AA teaches people principles before personalities, right? Everybody got different political ideals of this, that, and the third. When I went into this room for the first time again, I tried to have no judgments, no bias, whatever. And by doing this, I've gotten helpful information from everybody in the room. Because I'm not judging them based on this, judging them based on that. I listen to what they have to say, their ideas. Like there's a guy in there, he passed out these spider plants, right? Perfect example. This is an exercise in just control. I got a bunch of these spider plants now. From one spider plant I got that was in a Dixie cup. I've transplanted them and stuff like that. I'm actually going to use them to do landscaping around my neighborhood or my house later on in the season when spring come around. So I'm just letting them sprout, get bigger, and then I'm going to plant them outside. So, all these little exercises and stuff were these things that I tried. I just needed to, because if it wasn't that, I was going to just fuck up and drink again. And I took all these suggestions, and I started to realize that you'll be surprised who you can learn from when you're not basing on the book value and what they look like, or the tattoos, or missing teeth, or whatever. If you actually listen to what they say, you'll be surprised how much you can learn from them. And this is everybody, I have a buddy in there. Good God, man, did he save my ass a couple times when my ass was on fire for a drink one day. I was ready to just throw in the fucking towel. And this guy used to come with his wife to my job because I worked outside, and they used to give me Chick-fil-A, and that me and him came into the program around the same time, and we have, you know, brought a bond with each other. As a matter of fact, I cried on the phone with him a couple weeks ago. And I do that because he's not afraid to show emotion at the meetings. So he wouldn't judge me when I'm going through some terrible shit and some emotions are being brought up, and I leaked. You know, I come from an environment where you don't ever cry, ever. That's a sign of weakness. And really, it's actually a sign of strength. Shows you're human and shows you have emotion. You're not a raging narcissist. You have empathy for people, places, and things, you know? And I love this guy because I'm not overtly like organized religion. I believe in God. I believe in good and evil spirits and stuff like that. But I'm not one to block the sight of life or enjoy things because of a doctrine. You know what I'm saying? However, I do also agree like things like the Ten Commandments, the Golden Rule. These are important things for people to follow to not do evil stuff in society. So like if you could just follow those 10 commandments, you should be all right, you know? It's hard when you're drinking and drugging because it will get you to a point. Your drugs might get you to steal. Like I've done that before. I'm not a thief. I don't pride myself on that shit, but I've gone to jail for it, you know? This part about changing your ways and changing the shit you used to do. And that was years ago, man. Fuck, that was 2012. And, you know, I realized I wasn't good at it, so I went back to selling drugs, which what I was good at until I got caught. You know, like I said, that eventually happens for everybody. So when you grow from that, is where you can really make progress and change. And I'm happy today because there are people that this is my message is starting to rub off on. And I'm gaining friends. This person that used to bring me the chicken sandwich, I'm keeping his anonymity. He's turned into a real good friend. And he doesn't want nothing from me, man. I call him so I can get an overtly religious perspective. It's like me going to a priest or going to a counselor or something like that. And having that different perspective with someone who does follow, you know, their rule set is way different than mine, you know? And we came on the same common ground because you know what? Both me and this man used to drink like a fish. So it's not about what you look like. It's not about your job. It's not about any of this stuff. This disease affects everybody. And it is, or I'm sorry, not everybody, but the people that it does affect. The numbers is actually astounding. Only 2% of the people who try to get clean stay clean. It's very low numbers. And it's hard. So, you know, do you want to be that part of that 2%? Or do you want to be that percentage of the people dying from fentanyl? Or dying from drug overdoses? Or dying from DUI crashes? Or any of these other afflictions that happen when you're drinking and using drugs? You know, if you're not, then get your ass to a meeting. Find you a sponsor. And, you know, do the step work. It's that simple. It's a simple program for complicated people. So, with that, I'm going to start my day, even though my day already started around 2 when this dog woke me up and all that. But I like those early mornings, man. I can get a lot of stuff done during the daytime, and that's important to me. I used to be a night creature. So, you know, getting up early is a part of my routine. Except for like I said, last night I took a nap, so I woke up super early. So that's kind of a cool thing too. And, you know, with that, I hope that y'all have the rest of your day as blessed as you can make it. And if you're struggling, man, just remember this. Don't give up till the miracle happens. Y'all have an awesome day.